Get inspired by the ceramic artistry of Marcello Andres Ortega. He is a Dallas-based ceramic artist known for his unique sculptural pieces that blend traditional techniques with contemporary design. His pottery can also be found at some of Dallas's finest eateries. Marcello Andres joins us. It's so lovely to be with you.
Thanks for having me.
At what point in your life did you first get interested in making ceramic pottery?
Well, I got introduced to ceramics in high school, but I think the moment that I was interested is when I found myself achieving flow. You know, when you're at the wheel and you lose track of time, you lose track of whether or not you've eaten. I think anything that you do that takes you to that place, you are naturally drawn back to it. And that was ceramics for me from the beginning.
Does it feel almost like you could be like a channel at that point, like something else is flowing through you?
100%. Yeah, I always say you're having a conversation with the material or with the clay.
Yeah.
And although you're looking down at the wheel, you're really communicating with the clay through your hands.
Whoa.
So it's this really cool experience.
Can we just fall in love with your cup that you brought in? Like, it's the cutest little cup. And I held it and it just feels good in your hand. Will you talk me through that? Like, what makes your cup so magical?
You know, something we think about with our work is how it fits in your hand, how it feels. Ceramics is a haptic experience, so we're experiencing it through our hands.
Yeah.
So the curve of the cup, we leave the clay body exposed, so having that kind of a little bit coarser, but then sanded down finish.
Yeah.
Versus a glossy glaze on the outside that can feel a little slippery and a little bit more commercial.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think it connects you to the actual material, which truly is just earth. It's dirt, it's mud. And so the more we get exposure to being outside or being in nature, I think our bodies just crave that.
Yeah.
And this is an example of that.
Wow. And your items are used in some of Dallas's fanciest restaurants. And there is reason behind that. What have you heard from some of the sommeliers that you've worked with when you've created or shared your work with them?
Yeah, I mean, I think at a base level, it's artistry celebrating other artistry, which is chefs, food, natural ingredients. I always say the food is the actual art. We're just building a canvas to celebrate that. So we like a lot of neutral tones, neutral colors, and it's really a canvas to celebrate, you know, like a tomato or a strawberry in season is like the brightest red you'll ever see.
Wow.
So we just want to complement that and collaborate with chefs and restaurants who are really creating art of their own.
And will you tell me about the dinners that you have, your kiln-to-table dinners?
Yes. So we launched this dinner series at the beginning of the year. We're always sending our ceramics to restaurants and to chefs, but for this dinner series, we asked the chefs to come to us.
Amazing.
So they're turning our production space, which is not a kitchen, into a makeshift kitchen. And then I opened a gallery space with a communal 12-person table where we host this dinner. So, you know, it's 6 to 9 courses, thoughtfully curated with drinks, with a special playlist. You know, sommeliers are involved, different chefs from around the world are involved. So all of these creative forces, whether it's the photographer or writers who are doing the storytelling, to really build an intentional experience with plates that were made for that specific dinner.
Whoa.
In some cases, truly still warm from the kiln. So it's this kind of creative explosion that ends up being really fun.
Just the art of creativity is just bubbling up in my brain right now. And like
so
what
cool.
that looks like when it's in action.
It's so cool. And then even just seeing these chefs come into the studio and you have these 14-foot walls of shelves of ceramics, and you can just see their minds start going about what they want to plate, what they want to make. Because a lot of them have, you know, certain parameters in their restaurants, but when they come to the studio, they can do whatever they want.
Wow.
And to know that some of the pieces inspire some of the dishes or vice versa is a really cool collab.
Wow. Before we go, you also do beautiful sculpture work as well, so we can get incredible plates and cups and everything, but you do some other pieces.
Yeah, absolutely. So whereas the plateware and some of the functional work has those parameters in terms of stackability, durability, size, our sculptural work is where we get to just let loose. So I love to surf, so I started making wave sculptures during the pandemic, and really just kind of letting loose with the thickness, like we talked about, having very thick pieces, using different glazes, you know, making orbs. I'm constantly trying to push the boundary of how big I can make work, which is restricted by our kilns. Making orbs, making waves, things that connect to my personal life.
And they're so beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, Marcello, just lovely getting to know you. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, to learn more about Marcello or to shop his collection of pottery, visit his website, marcelloandres.com.